Okay. Did either of y'all want to host? Because I haven't hosted in a while.
Oh no.
Well, I think that this is the second annual Lamo birthday cast, so we need to. I think it's Birthday Boy's decision.
Yeah. Damn. I'll hop back in the saddle. Why not? It's been a grip and a half, but let's do it.
You know how to do it.
Let's go do the stretches.
So you already know. You already know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're already on it.
Hello and welcome to the YASEcast. This is episode 46. I am jazzed to be here. I am Lamo, aka Nick. It has been many weeks since I've been able to be on and host. With me today, incredibly happy to see two of my favorite people. Today we have Jarv.
Hey, everybody.
And we got Morgan on the cast.
What's good, y'all?
I missed y'all so much. I said that
we missed you.
That extends one to the audience, but more importantly, right now to Jarv and Morgan. Boy, am I happy to see your faces right now.
Yeah, you've been. How long has it been? Like 3 weeks, something like that. Like it's been a grip.
I think I was on one like 3 weeks ago, but so a little bit of info for the listener. I've been doing weekly work trips for the past month and a half, and I have 1 week left. That's next week, and I'm so happy for that to be over. But y'all have been holding down the fort and putting out some excellent episodes. I've been loving all of them.
Yeah, we passed 1,000 downloads, which is something I never thought was going to happen with this. That was people listen to this?
People be
real
listening.
people?
That makes me happy too. I mean, the number one thing is for us to be able to keep in touch and chat and stay sane throughout pandemic and just moving onward, setting aside time to talk is always a good thing. But two, I mean, love to put on a good show for any of our listeners, any of our fans, any of our friends out there who are listening. I forgot how to talk in the time that I've been off. I think that's what it's been.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine. But I think, speaking of it, there is a very special occasion today. It is Nick's birthday.
It is.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, we can't both sing because we're like off a little bit. It's not going to work.
Okay, fine. You sing. You have a better voice.
No, I was just only going to do the one bar.
We have editing. We can make it work.
It's making more work for me. No, it's like I realized that today that this is the second annual Lamo birthday podcast. I know we did this a while back, didn't we? Or am I just like completely losing my mind?
Maybe exactly a year ago.
Maybe exactly 1 year ago we had the Lamo birthday cast. But anyway, it's one of the things that I know has been a grounding point for me in the past year is being able to have this time and to talk with my friends. Echoing what Nick said, I'm looking at two of my favorite people and being able to chart time to say, hey, let's just sit down and let's chat. And if we record it, if we do a podcast, we'll put it up, it'll be a group project. And that's really where this went. And the fact that other people listen to this and people we've had guests, we've had King Hippo has come on here. Juliana has come on here. It feels like
so Ratchet Flash. So Ratchet Flash
I'm really
too.
proud of this.
Yeah.
I'm proud of this. And it makes me really happy that we've made it to 46 episodes.
1,000 times y'all have listened to us.
1,000
being stupid.
Y'all keeping it 1,000 out there.
Y'all keeping it 1,000. I don't know why. No, I'm just kidding. We put out the best content. I totally understand why. This is amazing.
The absolute best content.
Number one content.
Every Tuesday, I post the tweet saying, hey, we got a new episode. And then I go take a walk and I listen to the episode on my walk at the local community college and just kind of walk around and listen to my friends or myself and my friends. It's very fun.
Good times.
Yeah, I'm happy we're all here. And yeah, looking back here, it's funny too because I went and I looked up that episode. It was episode 5, and originally I think we had something heavy to talk about, but we just said apparently decided to scratch that, and then it was, hey, let's just share stories from the FGC that we have. Which, you know what?
What could have possibly been happening around this time last year?
I wonder.
Yeah, that was
There's 5 or 6 things it could have been.
It was a rough period.
Yeah,
think about it.
2020 sucked. Oh God. So speaking of which, I posted this on Twitter, but I'm going to bring this up now too because I think it's really hilarious. So 1 year ago, there was a promotion for Billie Eilish album or whatever called A Letter from Your Past Self, and you could write a letter to yourself in the future, and Spotify would deliver it to your inbox in 1 year's time. So I did that, but you can tell, like, I can tell I was in a mood because, boy, I was just trying to post through it. I was just fucking posting through it. Here we go. A message from your dumbass self from 2020. This year sucks ass, dude. I hope 2021 is better. And then I open the letter and it just says, Dear future me. And then the body of the message just says big titty. And then you had to sign it like with your mouse. And so I just wrote pee Poo-Poo. I was full on posting through it. That's how I got through 2020. Down, huh? Yeah.
That's definitely big posting energy. And
so I gotta know though, is 2021 better so far than 2020? Because I mean, you hoped, but do your hopes live up?
The horizon looks better.
Yeah,
it's a good answer.
I think that's true.
Things are still not great, but I feel like we're on more solid ground than we were a year ago. We know more about what's going on in terms of COVID, as far as upcoming elections. There's the immense, not to say things are great right now with a lot of things, but we don't have the dread of, is Donald Trump going to get reelected in November over our heads?
Yeah, we also don't have like the whole like Bernie hangover. You know, there was a time, 6 weeks ago last year where we were like, wow, he won Nevada. He can really do it. And
he can really do it.
Happen.
I remember.
I wish that we could.
Go ahead.
I wish that we could bottle that moment, that feeling when Bernie won Nevada, and just like open up and sniff it every now and then.
Yeah, I
just like waft a little bit of it.
There are a few, like, that moment in time is the same level of energy when you found out that like Trump got COVID. Like Bernie winning Nevada is like, ooh, they're so close to each other. It's fucking funny too, because I think the same week that whatchamacallit, 1 year after Bernie won Nevada, I think that was the week I had food poisoning from a different work trip, and I was like knocked on my ass in like a shitty Super 8 hotel room. Ugh. And I think I woke up after however many hours of sleeping and just like trying to eat things. And I was like, what year is it? And Jarv just responds, wake up, lame-o. Bernie just won in Nevada. I was like, Jarv, I can't do this right now.
It was on my mind. I couldn't help it.
It was on all of our minds.
Well, what could have been? Instead we get neoliberal malaise.
Yep. Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. I've been, it's a good pivot to something that I've been listening to this week, actually. So I've been cheating on y'all. I've been listening to other podcasts.
How dare you?
We're
the only podcast.
the only pod that has ever been cast. The best pod that has ever been cast. But I have started listening to, or gotten back into listening to the West Wing thing. Which is a good pod. It is a good pod. I have complicated feelings about the episode that they just put out with Brianna Joy Gray, where they maybe I can talk about that a little bit later if y'all can give me some space to vent about something.
Of course.
But it is the premise of the West Wing thing is exactly what it sounds like. It has a great theme song, and basically it's two lefty comedians, one of which you probably know from The Dollop. If you don't listen to The Dollop, you probably should. But they go through and they watch every episode of The West Wing and critique how it is torturous. Actually, they're in like season 5 now, and it's just like you hear there's no light in their voices anymore. It's not funny anymore.
Oh, no.
Like they had a whole section where one of the hosts was like, I usually watch these on the weekend. I sat down at my usual time to sit down and watch the episode, and I just didn't want to. The sun was shining. My dog wanted to play. I just didn't want to sit down with Aaron Sorkin.
Damn. I don't blame you.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah, but same as it ever was, it is interesting to chart because, if you listen to the Dollop, they're very plugged in, very historically grounded lefty comedians, and tying sort of the politics of the West Wing to really the current Biden admin of like, well, now everything's back to normal. We're back to the West Wing where we do politics and bureaucracy and this bizarre fantasy that sort of that malaise of neoliberalism that soaks just every element of our lives now. The whole the real part of let's go back to brunch. So it's funny listening, but it's at the same time like I'm sitting here just like, I don't know, because The West Wing was the show that my parents watched. I would like sit every now and then and be like, this is boring.
Yeah.
And now I just watch it and I get angry. So I'm like, you fucking idiots. This is a literal fantasy. You can do anything you want. Aaron Sorkin could do anything he wants. And what does he do? He slashes Social Security and he harasses women.
That's what he wants to do.
That sounds exhausting.
I only can listen to it in short bursts, but the West Wing thing ended up in my DMs, or not my DMs, but in my mentions, where I got the biggest, because I asked for podcast recommendations. Someone's like, hey, if you don't listen to this already, you should listen to the West Wing thing. And I was like, I already do. It's in my rotation. And then I got the big fave from the official account, which means, we're tight.
Very nice.
Damn.
I'm going to guest star soon.
All right.
I always think, those pictures of like Biden and Kamala like just walking. They always do like little like slow mo
just
videos.
walking everywhere.
I just imagine they're doing like the Aaron Sorkin West Wing like walking conversation thing.
Oh, the walk and talk. The walk and talk.
Gotta love a Sorkin walk and talk.
They're the worst. He's not a good writer.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Biden. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree either way.
Also Biden, but mostly Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, today Kamala was like, oh, America has always had like systemic racism like in its roots. And I'm just like, you can't be the vice president and say systemic anything. You are the system.
Yeah.
You are in control of the system. What is the system? If you can't name the system, don't say systemic anything.
Well, it's like, it's just out there. It's like in the water or something. And like, we have no power to do anything, even though we are in control of every element of government. We can't do anything. We can't do national health care. We can't legalize marijuana. We can't pack the court. We need bureaucracy, and Joe Manchin over here. And it's like, fuck. You could put so much pressure on Joe Manchin. You could make him bark like a dog if you wanted to.
Yes.
But you don't, because it's convenient.
I saw a good tweet that was like, a lot of liberals use the term systemic to mean pervasive and not actually like coming from a system designed by a system, because if racism is just pervasive, then it can be everywhere and you can like personally atone for it and be not racist. I'm doing the air quotes. And then you're good. But if it's systemic, then you actually have to grapple with the system, and the system is inherently good because the system gives us liberalism. And if we can't say that it's good, then we can't make that argument. So we have to pretend that it's just pervasive and not systemic and like built into the recipe.
I like that a lot. I love that, and I hadn't heard that specifically. Because you're right, that if you think about the liberal, or especially the neoliberal worldview, it's about institutions and tradition and procedure, and that's all of what the West Wing is. But if you're using the word systemic, you got to reckon with the fact that there are problems with the system. But if you think the system is fundamentally good, you're using these words that mean a thing, and I don't think it means what you think it means.
Exactly.
Man, Aaron Sorkin sucks.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I haven't watched that Chicago trial of Chicago 7.
Oh, I heard that one sucks too.
Oh,
I heard it really sucks. But apparently he has a couple of like very soapboxy moments that I think it was Gita on Waypoint described as Aaron Sorkin desperately asking Will Menaker to tell him he's cool. That's insider podcast baseball, just A+ podcasters, 1,000 downloads and above. I can talk about Will Menaker on the pod now.
Hell yeah. It's funny because I was actually interested in that show for a little bit, and then I saw Aaron Sorkin's name, and I was like, well, maybe on a rainy day, on a very rainy day, I'll go back and I'll watch it. I don't know.
It's going to win everything.
Looking for new things, I guess, but I don't have to start there.
If you want a new thing, you could watch Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, or The Next Generation.
Not a Star
There's
Trek.
always more Star Trek to
There's
watch.
always more Star Trek to watch.
More stars to truck.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Boldly going.
Star Trek.
Yeah. Star Trek.
That's
Star
the one.
Trek.
Galaxy Truck.
Whoa.
I saw on the timeline. I saw some board game called Galaxy Trucker that looks pretty fun.
It's actually really fun. I've played it.
nice.
Yeah.
There should be more trucker themed board games. That sounds
Space
cool.
Truckin'.
Yeah.
Like the
You know, there
official
was-
Deep Purple Space Truckin' board game.
Yeah.
Well, if I can also maybe vent before, unless anybody else wants to go first, because
Go for it.
this is gonna be a little bit. All right.
Vent
You
away.
got you got
All right.
feelings and emotions. Let's do it.
So, dear listeners, dear friends, you know I'm gay. I got
Wait.
the big. I'm the L and the
Whoa.
T.
Hold on.
Whoa.
I'm sorry if this is a revelation. You should have known from listening to my voice that I am trans. That was a self-depreciation.
Don't
And my girlfriend will yell at me about it. But for now, it's fine. I'm almost one beer in. So one of the things that bummed me out about the West Wing thing recently, and this is a conversation that I've seen in a bunch of online spaces, ostensibly even lefty online spaces. People, especially around that are maybe a little bit older than me, so I'm 31, that are either around my age or like around there, talking about how, I think that sharing pronouns is good, but it makes me personally uncomfortable, so I don't do it. Or that it's weird. In this context, they were talking about how there was a grade school where students were encouraged to share their pronouns. And they were like, well, kids, they shouldn't know their pronoun. Like, why should they be encouraged to share their pronouns? And like, what does this mean? And it was something that was actually it felt fairly reactionary. And I was listening to this podcast that, otherwise I was listening to just mostly dunk on Aaron Sorkin, who sucks. But finding myself getting really frustrated. And these are people, and Brianna Joy Gray, Bad Faith podcast, and formerly the Bernie campaign, is their guest on the episode, and talking about being like, well, I'm an older millennial, it's just not how we did it. It's frustrating for me as a trans person, and particularly coming out of this week with all the news about trans kids and these absolutely monstrous bills that are coming out, to see people that should be on, I would trust to be on the right side, say things like that. It really frustrates me. Because I know, having been a trans kid, I think that had it been normal to experiment with pronouns or to talk about pronouns, it would have radically changed my life for the better. And I find it so frustrating to see resistance from people. Like, the reason that you are uncomfortable is because you're not doing it. And the reason you're uncomfortable with that you're projecting onto these kids, even. That, if a teacher were to say encouraging students to introduce themselves or to share their pronouns or what have you, if you're reacting to that, I think it's people kind of telling on themselves. And it's just really frustrating for me to see. And it happens all the time. And especially being trans and on the internet in the past week, it's just like, Arkansas, that sucks. Hey, you heard about the shit in Florida where they just look at kids' genitals if they think they might be trans? That's happening too. It's
fucked.
sick. It's just child abuse. It's just child abuse.
Thankfully, that one died in the Senate, but the fact that
Oh,
it passed
good.
the Florida House is concerning as hell.
Yeah. Holy
DeSantis
shit.
would sign it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He would love to sign that bill.
It's just it's been in the past 2 weeks since we've recorded, it's been a very hard time to be trans on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, especially to have been a trans kid and to try hard. It's very hard not to project myself into that situation and thinking like, man, how hard it must be. Because for me growing up, the representation I had was Ace Ventura and being the butt of a joke. I almost feel like it might be harder for kids that are like, well, I have these feelings, but you know what? It might literally be illegal for me to do this in the next couple of years. So I'm just going to sit on it till I die. And that's what's going to happen. Kids are going to die.
Yeah.
And it just... I'm sorry, this is usually like a fun podcast, but...
It's some heavy shit, and you know what? It's
heavy
something
shit.
that...
I'm sorry.
It's our... And I don't mean that's a criticism, but it's what's going on in our lives, and it would be disingenuous if we're not talking about the things that are on our mind. I mean, I love we can have happy moments on the podcast all the time, but it's also important that we talk about, hey, this is... We do this so we can share with each other. And if we can't share some of the things that are harder to talk about or that are more important than saying, here's the game that I've been playing for last week. That's still a good thing. That needs to get talked about. And it's good to have that discussion available to people who might not have people in their lives they can discuss it with.
Yeah, there's like 37 or 38 states or something with anti-trans legislation on the docket. And it's going to take more than just like trans people and trans activists to get that stopped. It's going to take cisgendered people to raise hell. I mean, I was up my fucking like rep and state senators' asses over this like anti-trans kid sports bill in Florida, and I know I'm probably in a minority just because a lot of people either implicitly agree with it or just like don't give a fuck, so they're not going to do anything. And unfortunately, it's going to take. Well, I don't want to say unfortunately, but like it's just going to take more than just the people that it affects speaking out over it, because the people that it affects, those Republican institutions do not give a fuck about. So they're not going to listen or care. And it all sucks, and it all feels like Hell World.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Hell World is... we always live in Hell World, but it just feels a little bit more real in the past couple weeks. Yeah, it's... that's, I think, the part that scares me when I hear stuff like that on podcasts, that I know that there's the boogeyman of cancel culture, and, you know, maybe a YouTuber will make a 2-hour video about how they were canceled and get 1 million views and monetize it. But the reality is that trans people don't really have a lot of systemic power for talking about systems. Like, virtually none. Which means that when the actual systems, that is to say, like legislatures are trying to say, hey, if you are trans, you cannot exist in public, which is the real project here, is to make it impossible to have a public life. I and people like me do not have the political capital to resist that in any meaningful way without people like Jarv, the angel that he is, raising hell. And it's really scary to me when I see people that I thought I could count on to be on the right side of things, to, even if they maybe were uncomfortable, to be like, hey, you know what? Pronouns are new to me, but at the same time, I recognize it broadly fits with my worldview, and I should be behind this, and I should be raising hell. But to see that hesitation from people, I'm like, well, then what about the centrists and all that? Like you said, like, did they just like kind of tacitly agree? Is that what's going to happen here? It's a scary time. I'm a Canadian citizen, and every now and then I look at that my little Canadian citizenship doc, and I'm like, I might not be able to live in this country in the next couple of years. And Toronto gets very cold. I don't know if I can last.
It gets real chilly.
It gets a little brisk.
just a tad.
I lived in Florida for too many years. I can't do it anymore.
I was gonna say, the cold doesn't bother me anymore. The heat, though, I couldn't live in Florida.
All right, fucking Elsa looking ass.
Are you calling me beautiful?
I'm calling you beautiful. You better let that one go.
Damn! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Nick.
Birthday asthma.
Here's the thing. Everyone has pronouns, you fucking dipshit. It came free with your goddamn existence.
No, some people just use proper nouns to refer to themselves. They're really uncomfortable to be around.
Yeah, those people need legislation against them. Third person speakers, criminalized, canceled.
Get out.
It just, yeah. Thank you all for listening to me. It's a heavy thing to have on your brain and be like, damn, this sucks. Anyway, what have y'all been up to?
All right. So, I obviously been on work trips, but I did pick myself up something for my birthday. No, it's not a PS5. It's an Xbox. No, it's not a Series X. I got an Xbox One S. So like one of the older ones that's not the current generation. They don't even make it anymore. But I really wanted to play some Xbox 360 games. And some Xbox One things. I'm like, well, I already have Game Pass or PC. Let me pick up a used one. So that, actually came in today. So the timing worked out really well. really like it so far, but I'm going to be super honest. I got it hooked up. I got signed in. It's like, hey, check out what Game Pass games you can download right now. And I saw, bam, Battlefield Bad Company 2. And I was like, hell yeah, fucking in there.
Till the day I die.
That game, that's a distilled point in time of playing that game with a bunch of people online. That's like one of those weird, like, yeah, you had to be there kind of moments. I fucking love that game. So I'm kind of going through the back catalog and seeing all these things that I wanted to play that I haven't had a chance to. Viva Pinata. I'm very excited to play that.
Oh, nice.
If you ever played Viva Pinata, by the way, this goes out to Morg as well as any listeners. The music in that game fucking rules. It's fantastic. It's just a good ass time, and with a bunch of cute little animals, vaguely pun named if I remember correctly. But I'm kind of excited to dig into this back catalog and just have a new thing to maybe play a bit more games in the living room on our couch rather than be kind of stuck in here in the office on my PC playing stuff all the time. One thing I do have to say though, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to shipping things, because I have to do a lot of shipping for work. And prior to that, like ages ago, I worked at a retro game store and I handled all of our eBay stuff. So I was always really particular about, okay, is everything going to be packed? Is it going to be able to move around in the box? You know, want to make sure things protected. This dude put 3 paper bags in there and a couple things of bubble wrap in the box. So I was terrified when I got it that it wasn't going to work, because I open up this box and the first thing I see is it's a bag from the Olive Garden. And I think, oh dear God.
Does your Xbox smell like unlimited breadsticks?
Listen, when you're playing Xbox, your family. It does not smell like like garlic bread, though.
That's a really good slogan. Like, that's unironically really good.
You're playing here, your family.
Yeah, I mean, Yum Brands might have something to say about that, but I mean, Microsoft's been making moves. Today they said that free-to-play games no longer require like paid Xbox Live to play. So,
that's dope.
You know, they're doing little things. They got the Game Pass. They got the Bethesda sale, which is ridiculous.
Got Bethesda. The EA Play is on there too. It's a good bunch of EA games. They just recently. So this one's actually kind of crazy. They got, what is it, MLB The Show, which is like a PlayStation produced.
It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah, that's on Xbox
a Sony
now.
Game. The fuck?
Yeah, so it was a big deal.
Octopath Traveler's on there, although that's on Steam now anyway. So, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's Game Pass kind of fucking rules.
Yeah, Microsoft's making all these big moves, and Sony's like, dog, we really want another Last of Us remake.
Yeah, it's Sony.
That's what we're focused on. Hey, with the new Series X shit, can you still like emulate PlayStation 2 games and stuff?
I don't know about that.
I mean,
I know there's like a developer mode you can install other apps and shit.
Sidechain it or whatever.
So probably, I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. But I kind of forgot that was a thing, and now I'm super interested.
I was gonna ask if you got the Xbox Series or the Xbox One S that didn't have the disc drive, and then you said that Lost Odyssey hadn't come in yet. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a disc. So
yeah,
questions have been answered.
Made sure to get, because it was either, I think you can buy it digitally, but I'm like, I'd rather not. Like, I'd actually like to own like a physical copy of that, just because it's only on the 360. So if it's, hey, sorry, we're not offering it on sale anymore, or the marketplace is down, that game's lost forever. So I don't want to deal with that.
Who did that game? Was that a Square game?
That was Mistwalker.
I don't know what that means.
That is like the Final Fantasy OGs who left to form their own studio. Same people behind Blue Dragon.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I know who they are now.
Right? Yeah, it's Sakaguchi's studio.
Neat.
So yeah, excited for that to come in. Excited to keep playing Xenoblade Chronicles. And so many games. And then people have been talking about playing Street Fighter V. I heard Morgan might become an E-Honda player.
That did not happen.
You're thinking about it.
I tried training mode for a little bit. I hate Honda's movement in that game.
I just like the V trigger where he looks
the V trigger stance is good.
The fucking camera and just
he's literally saying, like, "Hey, I'm about to do it to him," and then he goes back
like some Jim from The Office looking ass, like look directly at the camera. Like, you see this motherfucker
from The Office looking ass. No, it's good. I see so many clips from Street Fighter V that every now and then I'm just like, what if I played that game? And every time I play that game, I'm like, I don't want to play this game.
I did just update it today after I saw Morgan talk about maybe playing Street Fighter V. I was like, let me get the shit updated real quick.
I will say that our ordinary boy, Ryu, is fun in that game. Yeah. And he is very strong right now.
He's very extraordinary in that game right now.
He's an extraordinary boy, finally.
To the point where people just mash the fucking buttons, like face roll, you're like 2.5 character lengths away, and they're like sweep, 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 crash medium, crash medium, crash medium. And I'm like,
yo, just go stupid, go crazy,
No, he's mad good. If I were to play that game, I'd probably play Ryu. I do love the ordinary boy. And there's something about it. There's this, I feel like a really weird perception of, especially like Guilty Gear and like anime players. It's like, you got like your crazy combos and your crazy setups and your air dashes. And then I'm sitting here like, man, I just fucking love Ryu. I like doing crouch forward to fireball. It makes me feel good inside.
Anime players like Karate Man. Like, yo, Karate Man does electric things too.
Yo!
Karate Man install.
Like, I can't even joke about that because that's why I play Makoto in Third Strike. She's like, no, I don't have fireballs. I don't have like this weird
Karate
shit.
Girl.
She gets angry and she punches people. I'm like, hell yeah.
Angry Karate Girl.
There's a simple appeal to just playing Ryu, especially Ryu when he's secretly like mad ignorant and one of the best characters in the game.
I see karate and neurons get activated.
Yep.
Monkey see karate.
Neuron activated.
he is
charging
cool.
Benjamin and just.
I've always liked Ryu, and in 5, I thought he was really neat. It was a shame he was just so bad for so much of that game. But man, the boy's back. He's back.
They just made him dump damage. It's like the funniest way to fix everything he does.
Dump truck ass full of damage.
That's a way to put it. Yes, that is a word you could use. A dump truck ass full of damage.
I'm in the mindset right now where like Street Fighter V does sound kind of fun to play, but so do like 4 other fighting games, and I'm like,
I feel that.
Well, I've reached a new point of the no locals, no seeing friends in real life, self-imposed quarantine stage of COVID, where I went from like, I got to keep everything up the way I used to play to like, no, actually, I don't want to play fighting games at all. And now the interest is peaking back up, where it's like, unfortunately, just the thought of playing the games is sort of fulfilling enough. And I would like to get to the point where playing the games is more fulfilling than just thinking, be like, yes, that would be fun. Anyways, back to playing anything else.
Back to Final Fantasy 14.
Back to Apex Legends.
Divided by 2. Final Fantasy 7.
There you go.
Yeah.
Back to watching VTubers play games that I myself want to play.
Oh my god, Morgan, you were talking about A Way Out a couple episodes ago. And
yes, I was.
I learned more about It Takes Two. Don't fucking play that game. It sounds awful.
I read the wiki. No. Don't fucking play that game.
Oh no.
It's like a weird story about like a divorce between like a lady and a dude, and like the kid gets sad about it, and like there's some sort of like magical book that like transports the parents into the book or whatever, and I'm like, what fucking twist ass ending are they gonna do? Yeah, the divorce doesn't work and they decide to stay together, but the kid dies or some shit like that. Like, it would be terrible if that actually happens. I will not play that game.
I'm on Wikipedia as we speak.
Oh my god, I'm sure you are.
I've already read it. He confirmed. I've seen his phone. He's on Wikipedia. I looked ahead too. So I was like, before I buy this game and play this with my girlfriend, I want to make sure that it's like not going to ruin our evening again. And it absolutely fucking would.
Oh my god. No, thank you. No, thank you.
It seems like it's the exact same premise of like, hey, you have two people that are at odds and they're coming together, and then it's like either you get a totally Pyrrhic victory or you get some kind of horrible ending in the twist. Because for whatever reason, that's what this studio does. It's what they do.
The studio is just designed to like ruin people's days.
It's like, and it's a lead-in too. You're like, wow, this is fun. This is engaging. This is colorful. The trailer looked so fun. Oh, wow. Oh, did you just read the ending?
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna say, as the game, as we're talking about, revolves around two parents getting divorced. As someone whose parents got divorced, this doesn't sound good. This sounds like a real bad time. Don't play this game. What the fuck were y'all thinking?
There you go. 3 people who have not played this game encouraging you to not also play this game.
Which is a shame too, because like you were talking about the first time we kind of saw footage of it, it looks like a lot of fun. It just looks like a cool little co-op platformer. Oh, fun stuff going on. And I was like, oh great, you know what? I love these. But now
it looked like the exact kind of game that you want to sit and play with your partner.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Game.
I would love to sit on the couch and play this with Jess, and now it's about divorce, and I'm like, maybe not.
It's about divorce and like a kid being caught in the middle, and like this is not going to be fun to play with my partner at all.
No, this isn't going to be fun to play with anyone.
Yeah, gotta say, It Takes Two gets the Yase seal of disapproval.
Damn.
Fucking play this game. You want a good game to play couch co-op with your partner? Play The Adventures of Cookie and Cream on the PlayStation 2.
There you go.
Y'all might hate each other because it's, co-op games where like you both gotta do things right, and it's like, oh, I'm frustrated, but like it's at least cute and not like about divorce. And also doesn't have like a stupid twist ending. And you can play it by yourself if you're real hot and you got like the left stick and L1 and L2 are cookie and the right stick and R1 and R2 are cream, and you can just play it, be like, I can see the frames, I'm playing both.
Damn.
Be Mighty Mar.
It's really hard.
Yeah, if you wanted to be if you want to be really slick and really cool and you want to play a co-op game with your partner, you could also play literally anything else. Just give them the other controller and tell them they're controlling the enemies.
There you go.
Go play Guardian Heroes or some shit.
You're playing as we're playing Star Fox 2 player. You're the towers on the ground that are trying to shut. You're already dead.
You know what? Speaking of co-op games, a game that I do kind of miss, and in light of the PS3 news, which has thank God been reversed, thinking about what was it? Oh God, I'm blanking on the name. With Titty Sorceress.
Oh, that's Dragon's Crown.
Yeah,
Dragon's Crown. There we go.
Instantly. Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's only one game with Titty Sorceress.
I mean, yeah.
That game rocks. That game fucking rules.
That game does rule. That would be also the kind of thing. I love those kind of couch co-op games. I miss them a lot. And kind of like I was saying on the A Way Out episode, it does bum me out that both A Way Out and it looks like It Takes Two are kind of like, they're close enough, but they don't quite hit that niche where it's just like, we gotta like have some kind of twist or something to like kind of ruin the co-op experience.
What a twist.
What a twist.
What a twist.
I'm not Shyamalan, no.
We're all bummed out that this game sucks.
Yeah.
Because we want to play good couch co-op games with our partners.
We all have like a 1,000-yard stare on our face. Just like we're all just like looking off into the abyss like, man, what if things weren't garbage? What if?
Nah, that would never happen. Jarv, what have you been up to?
I don't do anything these days. I just wake up and drink my silly little pre-workout and lift my silly little weights. I finished up a training block for some like powerlifting training I've been doing, and I feel pretty okay. I feel pretty strong. So
all right.
You know, if you got your bingo cards at the ready, you can by the end of the year definitely check off Jar of Souls out. It'll be real nice. It'll be good to check that one off, and also good to check off the one where they attempt to impeach Joe Biden, because that already happened. other than that, I shouldn't have started playing Final Fantasy VII Remastered because now I'm not playing Monster Hunter Rise because anytime I have free time, I'm like, yo, I need to see what Cloud's up to because this game fucking rocks. I'm a little bit farther in the game. I met Aerith, and she is real cool. All the characters have like a little bit of like a unique twist to them, so they don't all play the same. It's super fun to manage ATB. It's super fun once you get like a party of 3 and can actually like feel the action-oriented gameplay with the commands of doing the active time battle commands. And a friend of mine, friend of the pod, Mark Supermoose, Mark keeps saying top 1 PS4 game, and I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to disagree with that. It's real fucking good.
Damn.
It is
that good.
It was free for a while. I don't know if it still is. So if you didn't catch it, get fucked and pay for it like a scrub. I don't know.
But Nier comes out.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, Nier comes out on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Nier
That's
replicant
right.
No,
number.
like 1.2.0. Fuck you, Yoko Taro.
Yeah, I am still like a third of the way through my A route Automata gameplay, so I'm not gonna be playing replicant for a minute. But I did see
Same.
that they have a section where you play as Papa Nier, and he looks real good.
He's a good boy.
Got
He's a
some
I'm-
sick art.
Real excited for that game. Not excited about an achievement.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, but
They did a funny transphobia. Ha ha ha.
isn't it funny? Like how that's just like a thing that people make fun of, and that's just like your lived experience.
I think they
love
did it for
it.
I don't
Automata
know.
too.
I don't know
Same.
who the fuck is like. I don't know whose job title or what the job title is the person that like decides these things or thinks that they're a good idea. We have to go past some kind of committee or whatever, but like, come the fuck on. Really?
It ain't great.
Ain't great.
We don't need it.
It's bad. It's not good. It's bad. Malo.
Yeah, don't love that. Speaking of cool podcasts, though, well, I guess the West Wing thing is a cool podcast, but it's about not cool things. And I guess this is sort of the same thing. The second season of Blowback started, and Blowback is a really great podcast that kind of does a deep dive into, so far, the first season has been about the Iraq War, the lead up to the Iraq War, the Iraq-Iran War, the history of Iraq and Iran, why you have been lied to about pretty much everything regarding the Iraq War, and it's all like sourced from, you know, the New York Times and the Washington Post. Like, it's not like some like super lefty kind of, this is just like what the national news is, but like the fact that the narrative has been spun, the fact that it has been memory hold and repositioned, and, you know, the nuance and the extra levels of thought in order to, you know, you're just being naive, you're just being childish, we really need to, you know, think about this in a more like adult kind of way, blah blah blah. It's all bullshit. But season 2 is about the sort of like Cold War, if you will, against Cuba, and how the United States would love nothing more than to crush Cuba completely and then rebuild it as a capitalist state. And I mean, not that they're not trying to crush it already with sanctions, but I'm excited for the rest of it to come out. It's only on like Stitcher Premium right now, so I gotta like wait for, I guess, each episode. Or you can go to. No, I'm not going to do an ad for them. I'm not going to do an ad for them.
Don't do it.
Sorry, Noah. Sorry, I'm not going to do it.
You could have done the ad
Brendan
read.
and
You could
Noah.
have done the ad read.
I'm thinking about still doing the ad read. If they give us money. I just did like a whole I love Blowback season 1 thing. Come on, Noah. Come on, Brendan. Come on. Anyways,
cool.
That's a cool podcast. There's a lot of people who think that George Bush is like a decent dude. And
He's not.
he's not.
Oh my
Let's just
God.
be clear. George W. Bush fucking sucks and needs to be in jail. Let's just say that.
I can't fucking believe the quote that's been going around from an interview like very recently, talking about, you know, it's so bad that so many people are spreading disinformation about things and lying. It's like, hey buddy, you remember
My man.
You remember all those? You remember literally everything about the Iraq War that you lied about?
Do you remember doing 9/11? Straight up, do you remember
YASEcast
that?
does not endorse the theory that George Bush deliberately individually did 9/11.
I do endorse fucking shitting on George Bush's doorstep, though. I do. I
absolutely. Every minute of every day.
endorse that 100%.
Every Rumsfeld, Rove, Cheney,
All of them.
Bush, all of them, every single one of them. Colin Powell, listening to Blowback made me realize like how much Colin Powell sucked, how much he individually could have stopped the Iraq War and chose not to.
Condoleezza Rice too.
Condoleezza Rice,
fucking Joe Biden,
and all these people. Roger Stone is in there.
Mm-hmm.
All these. Steve Bannon is in there, I believe.
Yeah,
was Bannon in there? He might not have been. Most of the same cast of characters end up worming and crawling their way back into the spotlight of power. And if we're talking about systems, and that's like, this is, I get kind of turning into a very political episode. The system exists to justify itself.
Yeah.
And that means that like George Bush has to have been good. He has to have been maybe a misunderstood president. But the system has to justify itself. And so we see the like people like libs going around being like, he paints cats. He's good.
I was gonna say
he's good now.
He's like, look at these paint. He feels so sorry about all those people that died. He's a good person. That's like
1 million dead Iraqis, but we got fucking painted cats. And that's partially why Trump has to be such an aberration, where he's like so radically different. He's so uniquely terrible. Meanwhile, there's a lot of shit that he just kind of like kept rolling, from Obama to himself to Biden. A lot of things that Biden just kind of picked up and carried on. Oh, Cuba is on the state-sanctioned terror list. Thanks, Trump. I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to just smooth sailing. Let's keep it going. It's you're right. The system exists to defend itself and to I guess, what did you say? I'm blanking.
I said
on what
it.
You said.
I'm also
Italian
blanking on what I
hands.
said. I'm one beer.
We're doing some Italian hands over here.
Italian hands.
I'm
Mamma
sorry,
mia,
but
remind us what's going
but it's
on.
definitely
The Paisan
Mama
pinchers.
Meatball. The Paisan pinchers.
Yeah.
It exists to justify itself. Thank you. Thank
There
you
you go.
for,
Yes,
to the
that's the word I
Paisan
use.
pinchers. Which is
Gotta
definitely
pinch
my
the
favorite
brain.
minor league baseball team. Or like bocce ball team.
Yeah. The next season of Bluff City is going to be wild with the Paisan pinchers.
That's also another thing I've been doing. Everyone listen to the new Friends at the Table season. It's super good.
I haven't
It's so
started it yet.
good. Even
What?
I've listened to it. Am I ahead of you on a Friends at the
Whoa.
Table?
Yeah, because I'm still trying to finish Partisan. I haven't finished Partisan yet. I've had so many other
Well, I never
podcasts that I've started
Partisan.
listening to, and I'm like, all right.
My man,
Started
you've had
listening
all
to
these
a very
work trips?
dumb. I've been listening to much lighter things because I've been in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So it's like, is there a new
Yeah.
Clapcast out? I'll listen to that. I'll listen to Waypoint Radio. Listening to listening to A Hot Dog is a Sandwich, which is a food podcast by the people by the Good Mythical Moore Kitchen, and they just talk about
nice.
food things. It's surprisingly leftist, by the way. There gets. I don't remember how they got onto it, but they were talking about certain how different styles of food come up into different areas and how that becomes ingrained in culture. And it's like, well, we can't talk about these kind of things. We start talking about like district redlining and things like that, and about how all like these other I was like, yeah, this is that shit. Give me the shit.
Oh my god, it's like everything's political.
Well, what if?
I don't know why I did the Arturo.
Politics are
It's like,
involved.
They are actually. We had a whole drone war about it.
Yeah. Oof.
Hey, what up, politics? This is spooky. You are all free now.
I know that's part of the problem. Actually,
Oh.
that's what we're trying to get to.
Oh.
This is just the Ballad of Ricky O.
There you go. I want to rewatch that movie.
I feel like I could appreciate it more now. About like, wow, prisons are fucking bad.
it comes. It's almost like The Thing in that the gore is so over the top in some ways, but I don't necessarily laugh at it when I watch The Thing, but like when I watch Riccio, I'm like, this is so ridiculous that I cannot help but laugh. This man has been impaled, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna take my own intestines out to try and strangle somebody. It's like, what is even happening?
It's a good movie.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
It is. It's pretty exceptional.
Go watch Riccio.
Go watch Riccio. This is our media recommendations podcast at this point.
Oh,
and also the fuck George Bush podcast.
Fuck George Bush.
Every single day. Every single episode's a Fuck George Bush podcast.
Fuck George Bush.
Yeah. I want to dial back, though, to one thing. And I guess maybe this is something that... I don't know if... Did you have this experience listening to... Jarv, did you have this experience listening to Blowback where you had a moment where you realized that as a kid, your hunch that the Iraq War was a fabrication was more accurate than every piece of media that you heard about it?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Listening to Blowback and listening to the True On episode that had, I think, Matt and Will from Chapo that was talking about an Atlantic cover story about conspiracy theories. And they were like, motherfucker, like... The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic wrote one of the major pieces in The New Yorker that was trying to allege that Saddam had ties to Al-Qaeda. And then fucking the CIA and the DOD was like, well, I guess that settles it. They got ties to Al-Qaeda, so we got to go fuck them up. So, like, what is the real conspiracy? Like, the fact that somebody thinks that the Illuminati exists, or that you specifically made shit up to try to get us into a war?
That you made money off of.
Yes. Because the people who were like super diehard, Republicans and nationalists were, as soon as 9/11 happened, were on board with any sort of war. As soon as, George Bush was, hanging out there doing his speeches, that was it. You had to try to convince like the highbrow, high-minded coastal liberal that was like, well, I don't know, seems like we're kind of rushing into things, let's think about it. And so once you won that crowd over, slam dunk, bipartisan, we're in. I'm sorry, you told me to dial it back, and here I am.
No, dial it up. Go off. Actually, go off. This is I haven't been able to talk about Blowback with somebody, so except for like, actually no, I haven't. So it's one of those things that's kind of been like in my brain, and I'm just like, it's so much worse than you remember.
It is so much worse than you remember. And that podcast both made me feel like, wow, it was so much worse than I remember, and there's nothing I can do about it. And like, wow, you need to be so critical of everything that you read and like narratives that are like said by politicians and repeated by mass media, and push back on anything wherever you can, and know that your hunch is probably more right than any of the adults in the room, I'm doing air quotes again, that tell you that it's a little more nuanced and things aren't so black and white and we need to, come to an understanding. Well, the understanding is that you have an agenda and you want me to see to it.
And also that 1 million people in a country that will have to die for that agenda, and that we're not supposed to think about those people.
And a country that had been besieged by massive sanctions for 15 years.
Yeah, Anyway, Blowback is very good. It's very good. I'm really excited about season 2 as well. I'm on the cusp of doing the ad read and going for Stitcher Premium.
Stitcher.com/premium and use promo code Blowback for
Then listen to it all and don't renew your subscription.
Look, I mean, I've thought about doing that. Like, as soon as I heard the woodblock come in on the theme on season 2, episode 1, I was like, should I do it? I'm in the car.
I am driving, but I could sign up for a new podcast app.
Oh Lord, we should probably call out there before we go before we do any ad reads for Blowback at this point,
or for MeUndies, which is what I'm wearing now, and you can get your first free pair. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't wear fucking MeUndies.
I was actually going to ask you, like, how are those?
I thought about getting them, and I Googled them, and Reddit told me that those shits fall apart real quick. So
good to know.
I'm not surprised. But what won't fall apart really quick? This purple vibrator.
Ladies, get that bad vibrator.
Y'all are listening to different podcasts. Is that what they advertise on Blowback?
No, that's what they advertise on.
No, it's what we advertise on YASEcast.
And the YASEcast.
Well, damn. New sponsorship opportunities always piling in. That's going to do it for this week for episode number 46. Thank you, Jarv, and thank you, Morgan, for joining me here tonight. It was, again, great time. Always happy to hang out with y'all. Where can the people find you, Jarv?
You can find me on Twitter at JarvDog, DAWG. Don't forget to find the team over at YASEworld. We got a Discord. Come hang out.
Yeah, if by some odd miracle you're listening to this without without being in the Discord, hop on in. It's good. It's a good ass time. Morgan, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Hellbird site, twitter.com at Morganization13. And I have, it will be done probably by the time anyone listens to this episode, but I'm doing a very important VTuber stream, the big debut on Sunday at 6 p.m. So if you're listening to this, congratulate me.
If you're listening to this when it's in your podcast feed, you missed it. Congratulate Morgan and apologize to Morgan.
There you go.
Oh no, apologize to the VTuber who is very different than me.
There you go.
Definitely not the same person.
And you can find me, Lamo, on Twitter at Lamo_SD. LAMEO_SD. Had a hard time spelling there for a second, and I second guessed myself. What's good? That's gonna do it for this week. Thanks again for listening. And remember, don't cost shit to be nice. Take it easy, y'all.